here. And so with that, Cindy, the floor is yours. And actually, let me do proper introduction. Cindy Mitchell is the owner and CEO of Blue Flare. And Blue Flare is a talent recruitment and HR consulting firm here in the Central Maryland area, based out of Columbia. And Cindy is a highly experienced recruiter, having spent 17 years in the government contracting space, also had previous years prior in private industry. She's very active in our community, having been a board member with the Howard County SHRM chapter. She's currently involved in the board with the Central Maryland Chamber, amongst a host of other things. So certainly when we started talking about recruitment, Cindy's name was brought up by about 2 or 3 of her colleagues in the space. And so with that, we're happy to turn things over to Cindy Mitchell to get us started.
Thank you. Great to be here. Good morning, everybody. We're excited I'm excited to hear from our wonderful panel experts, if you will, in their individual fields, and they do so much for our community. So I'm excited. So we're going to get started. And thank you very much, Leonardo. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully you can see that. All right, so today we're going to talk about alternative ways of really thinking about your hiring needs. And many times, we are just really up against a clock on how to expedite the process. So we've got some incredible speakers to talk to you about their experience and really resources like Leonardo mentioned that are right in our backyard that many of us probably didn't even know. And if you do know, we'd love to hear from you in our chat discussions a little bit later. So we're going to talk about our panelists, and I'm going to have them actually introduce themselves. So I'll start with Cindy, if you don't mind just giving us a brief overview of who you are and what you would like people to know about yourself.
Sure. Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Cindy Parr, and I'm the Executive Director here at the ARC of Howard County. I have had a very interesting career of nonprofit work. Prior to coming to the ARC, I was the Executive Director at Human Services Programs in Carroll County, which was the community action agency for Carroll County. As I always jokingly say, I was the Beta Dayhoff of Carroll County for a period of time. And I served a long time in Carroll County government in an administrative capacity, working for about 5 or 6 boards of county commissioners. And prior to that, I was in the private sector. And things that people don't know about me by trade, I am a journalist. I wrote for the Baltimore Sun and for a number of other publications. So I've had a very interesting career path, but at the core of everything I've done has been advocacy, and certainly for disenfranchised populations. So thank you for the opportunity today.
Thank you, Cindy. That's wonderful. I love that you're a journalist. That's awesome. All right, next, Ms. Fran Trout.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Fran Trout. I'm the director for the Howard County Office of Workforce Development. And I have worked in workforce development for many, many years. I've been the director for the past 15. And prior to that, I worked one-on-one with individuals looking for work, did special projects, and worked with businesses. Prior to that, I lived in Berlin, Germany, actually, and I was there when the wall fell down. So that's something a little different that I did. And when I was there, I was an education counselor for the Army. And that was a lot of fun. That was one of my very favorite jobs.
Thank you, Fran. I had no idea. That is amazing, your background, and I've known you for many years. So thank you for sharing that. We appreciate that. Mina, would love to hear from you.
Hi, everyone. Now I feel compelled to share something interesting, but I don't have anything interesting to share this morning. My name is Mina Wu, and I work at Howard Community College as the Associate Vice President of Continuing Education and Workforce Development. And prior to this, I was a grad student. This has been my first and only professional job. I've been at the college for 21 years. And I think that's a testament to show you that our college is a great place to work at. And, our college has a mission of providing pathways to success. And we really believe that for our students, our residents, and our business community as well. And we're always here seeking to help anyone with the resources we have. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mina. Ananta, love to hear from you.
Hey everyone, good morning. My name is Ananta, and I'm with Thrive Networks. We are an IT services company for mid-market and enterprise customers. I sold my company a year ago to Thrive. So prior to that, I ran a local business called Howard Tech, doing IT services for a variety of businesses. And my career has been in various technology, sales, and sales leadership positions. And for the last 25 years, I've struggled to hire people. And so the idea of recruiting and retention, it's been on my mind for a very, very long time.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. All right. And thank you for all of your, I guess, interesting facts or something that you wanted to share with everybody. All right. So I want to talk before we get into asking the panelists from their opinion what offer our current state of talent market. And heard the word, I think Leonardo mentioned it a couple of times, the words great resignation, and I've heard great reshuffling and all kinds of different things. But what I will say is that we're starting to see in some industries, some things are leveling out and some things are not quite there yet. So right now we have 73% of our workers. The one thing I hear as a recruiter all the time is that they're just burnt out. So we have a lot of people that want to work remote. They want better childcare options. They want more money. They want bonuses. There's so many different things that they want. But the number one thing isn't about money. It really is about feeling that they are valued and that they're seen and that they have a career path. So these are a lot of the different reasons why the market right now, even in 2022, that we still have such an influx of talent shifting. And you'll also notice down here, we have 1.8 women have left the job force or left the workforce for different reasons. And so, along with the baby boomers and so many other different things, this is causing a huge labor shortage. We are seeing some people return back to work, which is great, but we still have some other talent pools that we can tap into. All right, next. So I want to give you 5, from a recruiter standpoint, 5 great things that you can do now. So a lot of our strategies sometimes are based on, the immediate, what we have to do right this second. But we have a longer term strategy as well. How do we build the talent pipelines, especially if we know that we're going to grow in 2022? So what are some of the things that we can do now? So as a recruiter, I work with clients who a lot of times they just need a little bit of tweak, just like with candidates, they just need a little bit of tweak to your resume. So for those of you who hire out there, one of the things that I would highly recommend that you do first is check your career pages. And if you don't have a career page, that might be a great place to start. Make sure that the jobs are there, that people can see. But if you want to elevate and really give a lot of light into, who you are as an organization and attract talent to you naturally, testimonials from your employees, client endorsements, anything that will help people to understand the culture and the environment. So a little video, anything that you can think of that would give someone an insight to what it would look like to work there. Guarantee you candidates are searching your social media, they're searching your website, they're looking for anything they can to find out. Even though we're trying to, as the hiring staff, we're trying to tell them what they can expect. Many times they still want to see for themselves. Revamp your job descriptions. If they read almost like, it's dry or, it's just not appealing, they're not going to feel connected. So make sure that it talks about what they can experience. What's a typical day look like? So here's something that I think a lot of companies have started to do, or at least thinking about doing. They're wanting to put together a DEI strategy. One of the things you can immediately implement is a DEI interview panel. That interview panel could be people from all different backgrounds. The person maybe that's been with the company the least amount of time, or the person that has been with the company for the longest time. Put them all in a room and ask them to come up with questions of what they can ask the candidate. And then the hiring team that will be working with the candidate can prep them for that. Consider having a hiring event. So you can do an open house. You could, work with, which I have many, many times over the years, put your jobs on Maryland Workforce Exchange, or you could actually work with Fran's office at the Howard County Office of Workforce Development. There's so many different things that you can do. One other tip that one of our clients recently did is they did a restaurant hiring event. It's kind of cool. So they put out on a flyer and did a special invitation to people in a highly technical field. And they said, lunch on us. So they did a bag and they put their job descriptions in the bag. And then they did sandwiches and people came to pick up their lunch. And from there, they were able to get a few candidates. So I think those are some creative things that you can do immediately. All right, so now we want to hear from you. So we're going to use our chat today. So I'm going to ask for you to type in, if you don't mind, what successful tip can you share with the group that has worked for you in your hiring practice over the last year? Anything that you want to share that's worked for you? An example, we'd love to hear from you. So please start typing. I'm typing too. LinkedIn, word of mouth, yes. Offering referrals, we do that, and I know a lot of other people do that. Anybody else? All right, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Okay, so Cindy spoke to us about the ARC, and Cindy, we talked a few days ago in regards to, how do we get our employers locally to think different? Many times they don't really know what's else is available. And sometimes we're so used to just a pattern when it comes to hiring. How do you get the employers that are interested to work with you at the ARC to think differently?
Well, Cindy, for starters, one of the things that we do a variety of services here at the ARC of Howard County, but one in particular, it's our largest service actually, is supported employment. And we support close to 110 or so individuals that have intellectual and developmental disabilities that are interested in seeking employment. So what we try to do is let employers in the community know that we are truly an untapped workforce. We have our staff, different people. A lot of you are very familiar with Barbara Moyer, who does resource development, but she's an unbelievable ambassador for the ARC of Howard County in her role, not only for events and things like that, but also to let folks know in the community that we have an untapped workforce here at Howard County. And it's not just the ARC of Howard County, but it's also many of the disabilities providers in the Howard County community. And we also want employers to know and help them understand that our people that are looking to work are excited about working and they want to have purpose. They're committed, dedicated individuals. They show up. They don't call out sick. They are truly as dedicated and committed as an employee can be. And the other thing that we want employers to understand is there's always some sort of trepidation maybe or potential fear about employing a person with a disability, liability and such, but that's not an issue. There's no more liability involved in employing a person with a disability than there is employing a person who doesn't have a disability. We also, our individuals like what I would call a part-time job. They're not always in the full-time mindset. So employers can think about how they would hire a person with a disability differently, and they can job share. They can find those tasks that more experienced individuals in their workforce are performing, and they can remove those tasks that require a less experienced individual. And they can customize that job and employment for our folks, and they can take what might be a full-time task and make it to a 20-hour per week task. So there's a lot of different ways they can be creative about filling needs in their companies that don't require hiring a fully benefited full-time person. There are individuals that they could break down and customize the employment and utilize 2, possibly 3, maybe even 4 individuals to do tasks that might be normally done by 1 or 2 full-time employees.
So thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate it. Can you explain a little bit about how you help your employers that come to you, and specifically your employer partner program, as well as Project Search?
Sure, I'll go with employer partners. I've been at the ARC since July of 2015, and in that time frame, we've worked with roughly anywhere from 70 to 80 local businesses. And when we work with employers who are interested in hiring our individuals, we come through with folks that we're supporting or looking for a job. We call it discovery. So we spend time with that individual, and we do what we discover for them is what they're interested in, the things that they like to do, where they have an affection or desire to be. And then we'll do what's called career exploration. We'll try to take what we've discovered in that process from them and explore what career opportunities may be available to them in the community, seek out that employer or those type of employment situations, talk to the employer, see if there are opportunities. Then if indeed an employer is interested, we will work with them. We have employment specialists who will learn the task and work with our individuals side by side to understand and learn that task to the degree that they need to. They will coach them through the process while working with the employer. And then there's a period whereby natural supports take over. That's other people in the workplace, maybe coworkers and such, are working with that individual once they've learned fully how to do the task or tasks associated with the job. And then there's a fading away period where our employment specialist will come in on a, say, bi-monthly or monthly basis and touch base with the employer to make sure that everything's working the way that it should be. And say if there might be a breakdown at some point, then we will replace or put the employment specialist back into place, or maybe we find another person to who has the same interest to replace that individual to do the job. But there's always the connectivity with the ARC and with the employment specialist. Project Search. Sorry, I was looking at the agenda, my little agenda here. So Project Search is a very interesting program. We are in our, I believe, 7th, possibly getting ready to go into our 8th year. It's a partnership, a collaborative partnership between the ARC of Howard County, the Howard County Public School System, Howard County Government, the Autism Society, and DOORS, the Division of Rehabilitation Services. And what we do is we identify through an interview process individuals who are in their last year of public high school eligibility and have a desire to work. And what they do in Project Search, their last year of high school, they are working with Howard County Government has 12 modules where individuals rotate through. There's three separate internships that each person will do, 12 students. They have classroom time in the morning and they go to their internship in the afternoon. And by the time they graduate at the end of the school year, they have enhanced their skills to the degree that they are employment ready. Some of them, in many cases, have jobs before they even graduate from high school. And the whole premise of the program is to get the 12 people who are involved their last year employment ready and possibly into employment by the end of that school year. And that has been a very successful program. We find that over the years, the folks that have gone through that retention of employment has been upwards of 50%. So it's two separate things. We have our supported employment program that runs for adults with disabilities, and then the project search program that we run in collaboration with those partners that I just mentioned.
Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate all of the overview. And you briefly went over how an employer can work with you and get started. Was there anything else that you would like to share?
I think it's just as simple as contacting us. If you're an employer who has an interest in hiring a person with a disability, I would strongly encourage you to reach out to us here at the ARC of Howard County. You can, as you see, there's info at archhoward.org, and you can express your interest via that email. We will have someone get back to you, indeed, if you are interested in doing so.
Thank you. Appreciate you sharing. And I've been to the ARC before a few times, and it is such a wonderful, the building, the staff, many of the people that I've engaged with. So very proud and very happy to have the ARC of Howard County here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Sure. Okay. So quick